Hi everyone, Zarina here. Welcome to the channel and another fun painting episode. Okay, so I used a little canvas as a palette for some big paintings I did. And we've kind of been doing palette paintings recently, which I'm kind of enjoying quite a lot. So that's what I kind of got, and there's a lot of really nice texture on there. But also recently we've been doing monochromatic stuff, and I thought let's try and do something monochromatic. It's not going to be totally monochromatic because you're going to have some of this color come through, but it's just this is going to be a really quick video. So that's like a mix of colors, reds and blues, and there's a bit of yellow on there, and there's a bit, you know, gray. So whatever the palette turned into, blues and grays and reds, a bit of white here, a bit of light blue there, that's what we've got. So you can do anything. You know, just get your palette, whatever the palette is. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't have to look like this even. Yeah. But you've got to let it dry. So once it's nice and dry, totally dry, then I'm going to, oops, I'm going to lop on some white. And I'm using my Krilla white at the moment. Just going to get in there into all the areas. Well, not all the areas, maybe. As many areas as I can. The idea is that it's going to be like a snowy ground, and I'm going to insert here a picture of some snowy ground from my recent snowy walk I went on. You know what, I'm going to leave that. I rather like that bit. Don't make it too, I don't want to square it off or anything. Okay, so I've put a layer on now, and with acrylic, there's no point waiting for it to dry because obviously you won't be able to get it off then unless you sand it off. So there is an idea to do that, but I don't want to do any sanding at the moment, to be honest. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to pull some of that off with a cloth or a palette knife or something. So hang on, let me just find, right, so I've got my funny palette. I'm not going to use that, so I'm going to use the other side. Right, I'm just going to pull some of that like so. When I've got the edge of the sort of that kind of edge, which, you know, you can keep if you want to. I'm probably going to get rid of it in a minute. I just wanted to get some of this to come back out again. I'm just going to do that on a bit of tissue. Actually, maybe a new piece. Got a bit of black on that one. Right. And there it is. So I'm just taking some of that colour. I'm trying to get it to, oops, that's the windiness. I'm trying to get the colour to come out again. So yeah, quite nice actually. And then we can go in with our, I've got a different brush now. It's that brush with the little edges on it. We can go in and paint up the bits that we don't want to reveal. So, you know, we've got some bits that we sort of what's the word? It's not animated, is it? It's not reborn either. But, you know, we got some of that to come back out again, some of that colour. And we don't want everything to be revealed, because then it's kind of, you want a bit to be revealed. Now, the only problem here is that it's kind of going into that now, the area that I kept. Is that a good idea to have it so near? not quite sure. Anyway, it's a development thing really, so we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, and you can, you know, go in there and paint some of that white back in. Quite subtle, isn't it? It's very subtle. It's quite nice. Yeah. Now, I don't know if it should be white even. Maybe it should be one of these colours here, but we'll see. I mean, I am inspired by the snow. So I suppose that's what I'm sort of angling for. But it's not necessary that you angle for snow. You can have a different colour here. You know, that kind of Naples yellow. That would probably look nice, actually. Right, now I'm going to let it dry for a minute, and then I'm going to try and get a little bit more of that colour back without this background colour coming out. So I don't really want this white to be disturbed too much. I kind of want to get this, a little bit more of this to show itself. Yeah. So I'm just going to wait a minute, let it dry for 2 seconds. The sides need painting, don't they? Maybe I'll do that while I'm letting it dry. I'm going to paint these sides. Use that other brush. Oops, sirens. Well, we are in the city. Hence sirens. Right, so you can use masking tape actually on the sides to, you know, create a barrier so you don't get all this kind of mess all over the place. I mean, I'll probably paint the back as well because that looks a bit messy, doesn't it? But let's start with one thing. Start with one thing before we do another thing. I mean, and you can even sand back some of that if you wanted to. That colour. To be honest with you, you know, sometimes having the sides kind of grubby is a nice thing because kind of the painting history of it is kind of revealed. Oh, actually, I rather like it that way up, to be honest. That's quite nice, isn't it? Right, so that's where we are so far. Kind of liking the fact that some of this is sort of coming from here. Yeah, but I do want to reveal some more of that. So I'm just thinking, what shall I use? Maybe something like a cotton bud might work. Wait a minute, let me get a cotton bud. Yeah, so I'm going to just put the cotton bud in a bit of water so it's a bit wet, the tip is. And, oops. Oop. Hang on. If anything, it's making it less, isn't it? It's actually making it merge rather than bringing it out. I don't think the bud's working. Buds are not working, so there's no point using the bud. Right, so what we're going to have to do is probably going to have to let it dry a little bit and actually just take a little bit of sandpaper over that. Yeah, I mean, the other way to do it is to put a wash on, or to just paint round the areas, the raised areas. I mean, that was an option, obviously, which I didn't explore, but that's something you can do if you wanted to. But yeah. But you know what I want to do now? Just thinking. Do I want to have this sort of area a little bit blended? Do I want that bit blended? I don't know. Maybe I do. I like the idea of it being a little bit blended. You need to use a couple of buds though, because once one's got loads of paint on it, you're not going to be able to use it. Yeah. So just making it a little bit more like, a bit more tonal, I suppose, what we're thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that might not work. Might have to put more white on it. I don't know. We'll see. Right, we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to take a bit of sandpaper so we can bring out that colour. Sorry, sometimes I get absorbed in the painting. I'm just looking at it and I forget what I'm saying. It's just like, because the brain's thinking, oh, ooh, yeah, okay, that. I'm sure we all do it. So I'm just gonna let that dry, then be back in a sec. So it's a bit dry now, and I was thinking of sanding it or something, but it seems a bit extreme, to be honest. So I'm just going to use these scissors. I'm going to sort of use a sharp edge, and you could use like a blade or something, like a knife blade, and I'm just going to take it across the bit I want to reveal, really. And you're going to get debris, so make sure you've got something to catch the debris on. The other thing is, you might want to be in a ventilated space or something like that. You don't want to be breathing debris in. But I think it's working. I think it's coming off nicely, isn't it? That's kind of what I wanted. The question is it going to work totally or not? We'll see. I don't really want to take away any of this area, you see. I could always paint it back in. There is that. And it's funny because when I was walking in the snow, it was really interesting because the snow appeared blue, to be honest, for a start, and the highlights, which is what I'm thinking these are, appeared a kind of an orangey colour. Now these aren't, because, you know, obviously it was to do with whatever painting I was painting. So they're not, but I thought, well, that's just, and they looked really fluorescent as well. So it's an idea if you wanted to really recreate the colours of what it, you know, where you were, etc., when you were looking at the snow. You might want to put those colours down first, and maybe not use a palette, but make a dedicated painting to do with you know, the walk that you were on. So it could be more of a dedicated painting. I'm just using this. I mean, the walk was an idea about snow and the light on the snow, and the light being a different colour, to be honest. But in a way, this is a darker colour, and it maybe is not exactly that. But you know, it doesn't matter to me. I'm actually aesthetically liking that anyway. It still is like a ground to me with snow on it. So you know when the sort of muddy bits get revealed underneath, that's what that is. Maybe, yeah, maybe not. Could be something else even. Who knows what it could be? It could be anything really. We are talking abstract here. Abstract and an abstract thought. Abstract idea and abstract thought. That's what it is. And oh, I don't really want to take away. I'm taking away the bottom bit. I don't want to do that. I'm being a bit too blasé with these scissors, I think. Sort of get in there. So I've got my finger at the back, so that it's just pulling up the bit I want to highlight or reveal, and not the bits that I don't want to. Well, actually, I really like that. That's looking quite nice, isn't it? Awesome. I do like this area still. I'm not quite sure about what I did here. Was that correct? You know, I smudged it a bit to blend it, but I don't know that it's blending at all, to be honest with you. Maybe I need to add another colour now. I mean, we did start with the idea of snow, but let me just get the odds and bods of paint out of the way. So they need to be disposed of responsibly. Right, so that's where we are. And we've got this kind of colour. And we've got this, you know, I did feel from the beginning that that yellow, the Naples yellow, would work. You know, I'm not quite sure it will or not, because obviously it's now a different painting from what it was. I've got a lot of brushes that need washing here. Yeah. But I'm wondering if we need to make it a slightly more of a grey colour. Just washing the brushes. Now let's get another little brush, and Ah, maybe this one. Get this little brush, which is a number 12 apparently. I don't know how they work these sizes out, you know what I mean? It's a mystery to me. Right, I'm going to mix some of this with another colour, and I'm thinking, shall I mix it with a kind of a bluey colour or a grey colour? I think bluey. I mean, the snow was kind of bluey when I was looking at it, so I'm going to mix it with something blue. Yeah, what have I got here? Got a lot of colours. Ooh, I think that one's dried. Oh no, it's not. Is it dried out? Oh, I think it is, sadly. That was a nice blue, wasn't it? Dried. That's no good. I have got the turquoisey blue, but I think that may be a bit too turquoisey. What about this one? The cobalt. Yep. Right, so I kind of want to mix it on here. I'm going to put a bit on there first. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then I'm going to add the white. Yeah, there we go. Now, is that too blue now? I don't know. I think it goes with that area. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, I might go over it again with a bit of white, to be honest, because it might just be a little bit too blue. I actually quite like that. It's quite nice, isn't it? It's like a moon thing as well, isn't it? You like moon shots of areas of terrain, which, you know, works for me because it's all about terrain and land and stuff, isn't it? The work is. Right, so that's quite nice actually. Yeah, and like I said, I can lighten this up by adding more white if I want to. But that's now becoming interesting, I feel. That's becoming an interesting painting. To me, let me know. You know, let me know in the comments if you think it's interesting. Or let me know if it's not. It's just one way or the other, isn't it? Either one thing or the other, you know. That's quite nice, yes. Right, so I'm going to clean that a little bit, and then a bit of tissue. And I'm going to add more white. I think also, you know, with these little canvases that you buy ready-made, they're kind of primed really thinly, I feel, you know. You kind of have to add a little bit to them. Thicken them up a bit to make them into anything interesting. I mean, I end up putting loads of layers on if I buy one of these. I usually like to stretch my own, I'll be honest. You get, I think you get a really nice base when you stretch your own canvas. Obviously you use thicker canvas, better quality canvas anyway, and this is probably generic bog standard thin canvas. You can get different thicknesses, you see. This looks quite thin, doesn't it? It looks like a thinnish kind of size. I mean, it doesn't matter, I'll be honest. Oop. Going focus. Actually, let me oh, that's my white. Should I move it out of the way? Is that kind of distracting? There you go. Yeah, so I do prefer to stretch my own, but I was given some canvases and I thought, oh, I'll just use them up, and maybe next year I'll be stretching some and painting on those. I mean, you know, they're all valid, and there's nothing wrong with pre-stretched stuff at all. It's nicely made usually. Quality is fine, you know, and the longevity is fine as well. You know, all of these canvases do last a long time. If you look after them, you have to keep them away from moisture. You're best to keep them on the walls. Once you've got a painting, keep it up on a wall that's not damp or anything, you know. Heated house is a good one. I'm not quite sure about storing in storage areas like you know, like you can get these storage places where you can store your stuff. I'm not sure about storing artwork in those places. They're cold. They're pretty cold, those are, but will anything go moldy or anything like that? I'm not quite sure. So, something to research really. Because I've never stored anything in a storage place, because I usually have a studio to store it in. But I can appreciate that often you won't have that, and you will need somewhere to store your artwork. I mean, should I do that? I mean, I feel like I need to go around the edges. Actually, I kind of like it. Yeah, actually. I'm gonna, yeah, that's it. I've gone round the edges. Like it or love it or lump it, as it were. Yeah, that's quite nice. Oh, I'm liking that. It's very abstract. It could be anything, you know what I mean? Give it any title whatsoever. But the initial source material was the light on the snow, on a snowy walk. That was the initial source material, if you like, and really mostly from memory. And like that, I do take videos and photographs and etc., but then often don't actually refer to them. I just rely on my own sensibilities really. So that's quite nice. I feel that's kind of done, and we did do one coat on the edges, so I'm just going to do another one. And I might do the backs, because look at that, the back's a bit grubby, isn't it? I also like to paint the back of the canvas too, just to seal it. From any kind of, moisture or water or anything like that. But I don't know if it's a good idea or not, really. I haven't really, I suppose, it's something to research, really, whether you do need, because acrylic is a kind of a plastic, isn't it, really? So having, like, that waterproof area on the front is good. Should it be waterproof at the back or not? I mean, I try and keep it waterproof by adding something, but yeah, I like that, and I feel like it can be any way up. It's quite organic looking, isn't it? Could be that way, could be that way even. It's more going through and into, it's almost like bracken, and there's like little flowers or something here. Yeah, my mum would say, pop a little man in there. And she might be right. She may well be right. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Signing off for now.